I was wrong about loyalty. I am 62 years old, and I thought I understood people. After 35 years of running a business side by side, sharing tears and triumphs, I believed I knew my best friend Diana better than I knew myself. I was wrong. It started on a Tuesday evening in late September. My granddaughter Sophie had come to help at the restaurant after school. She was 16, bright, always with her nose in a book or her phone in her hand. That particular evening, she was wiping down tables in the main dining room while I counted the register in my office. The corner bistro had been my life's work. Diana and I had opened it together in 1989, two young mothers with big dreams and a small loan. Now it was a landmark in our Chicago suburb, the place where families celebrated birthdays and anniversaries, where regulars knew the menu by heart. Sophie knocked on my office door around 7:30. The dinner rush was over, and most of the staff had already left. I looked up from my spreadsheet to see her standing in the doorway, her face pale. "Grandma," she said quietly, "can I talk to you about something?" I gestured to the chair across from my desk. "Of course, sweetie. What's on your mind?" She sat down slowly, twisting her fingers together in her lap. I heard Aunt Diana on the phone in the storage room. I don't think she knew I was there. I was getting napkins from the supply closet. I smiled. Diana wasn't her real aunt, but Sophie had called her that since she was little. "What about it, honey?" Sophie looked down at her hands. She was talking to someone about selling the restaurant. She said, "Once the papers are signed, Maggie won't have any claim to it. The lawyer confirmed everything is in my name now." Then she laughed and said, "She'll never see it coming." My heart stopped. The numbers on my computer screen blurred. "Sophie, are you absolutely sure that's what you heard?" "Yes, Grandma. I'm sorry.
The path
I know
to
she's your best
success
friend,
isn't always
but it made
linear.
me feel sick."
But with dedication
her eyes
and
were
clarity,
shining with tears.
you can navigate
I didn't want to
any
tell
challenge.
you, but I couldn't keep it to myself. I reached across the desk and took her hand. "You did the right thing, sweetheart. Don't ever apologize for telling me the truth." After Sophie left that night, I sat alone in my office for 2 hours. The restaurant was silent around me, the ghost of 35 years of laughter and conversations hanging in the air. Diana and I had started this place together. We'd scrubbed floors, painted walls, perfected recipes in my kitchen at 2 in the morning. When my husband Robert had his heart surgery 10 years ago, Diana had run everything while I stayed at the hospital. When her daughter got married, I'd closed the restaurant for the day so our entire staff could attend the wedding. How could I doubt her? After 41 years of friendship? We'd met in 1984 at a cooking class, both of us young wives looking for something beyond our kitchens at home. We'd dreamed together, planned together, built this business from nothing. But I kept hearing Sophie's voice. My granddaughter wasn't a liar. She was careful, observant, the kind of kid who read people well. If she said she heard it, she heard it. I didn't sleep that night. Robert found me at the kitchen table at 3 in the morning, Diana's and my original partnership agreement spread out in front of me. "Maggie," he said gently, sitting down beside me. "Talk to me." I told him everything. Robert listened without interrupting, his face growing darker with each word. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "What does the partnership agreement say?" he finally asked. I pushed the papers toward him. "We each own 50%. All major decisions require both signatures. Or at least, that's what I thought." "When did you last review the legal paperwork?" I thought back. I don't know. 5 years ago? Maybe more? Diana always handled the administrative side. I focused on the kitchen and the front of house. We trusted each other. Robert took my hand. "Tomorrow, first thing, you call Tom Harrison. Don't say anything to Diana yet. Not until we know what we're dealing with." Tom Harrison had been our family lawyer for 20 years. I called his office the moment it opened Wednesday morning. His secretary squeezed me in for 11 o'clock. I told Diana I had a dentist appointment. Tom's office was in a converted Victorian house downtown, all dark wood and leather chairs. He greeted me warmly, but his smile faded when he saw my face. "Maggie, what's wrong?" I told him about Sophie's overheard conversation. I watched his expression change from concern to anger. "Do you have access to the current corporate filings?" he asked. "Diana handles all that. She always has. I sign things when she puts them in front of me. I trust her." My voice broke on the last word. I trusted her. Tom leaned forward. "Maggie, I need you to think very carefully. In the last year, has Diana asked you to sign anything? Anything at all? I thought back through the fog of daily operations, the 1,000 small tasks of running a restaurant. In March, she said there was a routine filing for the state, something about updating our business license. I signed it at the end of a long Saturday night. I barely looked at it. Tom's jaw tightened. I need to pull your corporate records. Can you give me until tomorrow? What do you think is happening? I think your best friend might be stealing your business, Maggie. But let's get the facts before we panic. I went to work that day and smiled at Diana like nothing was wrong. She was in the kitchen, testing a new sauce for the fall menu. She looked up when I came in, her face bright. Maggie, try this. I think I finally got it right. I tasted it. It was perfect, of course. Diana had always been the more innovative cook. It's wonderful, I said, and hated how normal my voice sounded. That night, I went through every document in my home office. Bank statements, tax returns, anything related to the restaurant. Robert helped me, both of us, working in silence. Around midnight, I found something. Robert, look at this. It was a bank statement from our business account, from February. There was a withdrawal for $50,000, marked as equipment purchase. I didn't remember any equipment purchase. Call Tom first thing, Robert said. This is bigger than we thought. Thursday morning,
in my time leading this department,
Tom called
I've
me
learned
before
that
I
true
could call
innovation
him.
often
His
comes
voice
from
was
unexpected
grim.
places.
Maggie,
It's about
you
empowering
need
your
to come
team
to
to
my
explore
office.
new ideas.
Bring Robert. Bring any financial documents you have access to. We met him at 2:00. His conference room table was covered in papers. Your business partner has been very busy, Tom said without preamble. In March, you signed what you thought was a business license renewal. It wasn't. It was an amendment to your partnership agreement, transferring your shares to Diana in the event of your retirement or incapacity. The room spun. But I'm not retiring. I'm not incapacitated. There's more. Diana has been filing documents with the state claiming you've stepped back from active management due to health reasons. She's listed herself as sole manager and CEO. She's also been systematically moving assets. I found 3 separate withdrawals totaling $170,000 in the last 6 months, all marked as equipment or renovation costs. Robert's hand found mine. What can we do? Tom looked at me seriously. We fight. But Maggie, you need to understand something. This is fraud. Criminal fraud. If we pursue this, Diana could face serious legal consequences. She's stealing my life's work, I said, and my voice didn't shake. She's betraying 35 years of friendship. What consequences would you suggest, Tom? He nodded. Then here's what we do. Over the next 3 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. I smiled at Diana every day. I laughed at her jokes. I discussed menu changes and staffing issues. And every night, I met with Tom and a forensic accountant he'd brought in, a sharp woman named Jennifer Wu, who could read financial statements like other people read novels. Jennifer found everything. The money Diana had been moving into a separate account, the property she'd been viewing for a new restaurant in the next town over, the conversations she'd had with our head chef, trying to recruit him away, the deal she'd nearly finalized to sell the Corner Bistro to a restaurant group for $3 million, a sale that would leave me with nothing. She planned this for at least 2 years, Jennifer told me, spreading bank records across Tom's conference table. Look at this. Small withdrawals starting in 2023. Just a few thousand here and there, nothing you'd notice in the day-to-day operations. Then they got bigger. She's been embezzling from your business, Maggie. And from you. I stared at the numbers. $243,000. Gone. Stolen. By my best friend. How did I not see it? I asked Tom. How was I so blind? Because she knew you trusted her, he said gently. She used that trust as a weapon. On October 15th, exactly 3 weeks after Sophie's revelation, we were ready. Tom had prepared all the legal paperwork. We had evidence of fraud, embezzlement, and breach of fiduciary duty. We had bank records, forged documents, email trails. We had everything. That morning, I asked Diana to come to my house. I told her I needed to discuss something important about the restaurant, something private. She arrived at 10, carrying a folder of her own, smiling. I'm so glad you called, she said, settling into my living room sofa. I've been wanting to talk to you about something too. Have you? I kept my voice pleasant. Yes. Maggie, we've been doing this for 35 years. Don't you think it's time we considered our futures? We're not getting younger. What do you have in mind? She opened her folder. I've been approached by a restaurant group. They want to buy the corner bistro. The offer is very good. $3.2 million. We could both retire comfortably. I looked at the papers she was showing me. The sale agreement listed Diana as the sole owner. My name appeared nowhere. This says you're the sole owner, I said calmly. She didn't even have the grace to look embarrassed. Well, you signed those papers in March. You've been stepping back, Maggie. Your health hasn't been great. I've been managing everything for months now. My health is fine, Diana. But the documents you forged? I watched her face change. The papers you tricked me into signing? The money you've been stealing for 2 years? She stood up. Maggie, I don't know what you're talking about. Sit down, Diana. My voice was ice. We're not done. Robert came in from the kitchen, followed by Tom Harrison and Jennifer Wu. Diana's face went white. This is ridiculous, she said, but her voice shook. Tom, what is this? Tom didn't smile. This is the end of your theft, Diana. We have everything. Bank records, forged documents, email communications with the restaurant group. $243,000 in embezzled funds, fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, wire fraud. I've already contacted the state attorney's office. You can't prove any of this. But she was backing toward the door. Jennifer Wu stood up and began laying out documents on my coffee table. Transaction 1, February 10th, $50,000 transferred from the business account to your personal account, marked as equipment purchase. There was no equipment purchase. Transaction 2, April 3rd, $35,000.
Welcome. I'm glad you're here to
Transaction
learn about this
3,
new initiative.
June 22nd,
I'm confident it will bring positive
$70,000.
changes
Would you
to our
like me to
community.
continue? Diana looked at me, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. Maggie, please, let's talk about this. Just us, like we always have. Like we always have? I stood up. Like when you were planning to sell my business out from under me? Like when you were recruiting my staff for your new restaurant? Like when you spent 2 years stealing from me? I built that restaurant as much as you did. Yes, you did. And you owned half of it. That should have been enough. But it wasn't, was it? You wanted it all. Tom stepped forward. Diana, you have 2 choices. You can sign these documents, returning all stolen funds, transferring your shares to Maggie for $1, and agreeing never to work in the restaurant industry within 50 miles of here again. Or we can let the state attorney handle this, and you can face criminal charges. Choose now. She looked at the papers, then at me. Maggie, please. Our friendship died the first time you stole from me. I was surprised by how steady my voice was. Sign the papers or face prosecution. Those are your only options. She signed. Her hand shook so badly she could barely write her name, but she signed every page. When she was done, Tom gathered up the documents. You have 48 hours to remove your personal belongings from the restaurant, he said. After that, you're trespassing. And Diana? If you try to contact Maggie, any of her family, or any employees of the corner bistro, we'll file the criminal charges anyway. Are we clear? She left without another word. I watched her drive away and felt nothing. No sadness, no relief. Just emptiness where 35 years of friendship had been. Robert held me while I cried, great heaving sobs that seemed to come from somewhere deep inside. I wasn't crying for the money or the restaurant. I was crying for the friend I'd thought I had who had never really existed. The next 2 months were chaos. The staff had to be told. Our regulars asked questions. I had to go through every aspect of the business, changing locks, passwords, bank accounts. Jennifer Wu helped me trace every dollar, recovering what we could. In the end, we got back about $160,000. The rest was gone, spent on Diana's plans for her competing restaurant. I hired a new manager, promoted our sous chef. I started going through the books myself, really understanding the finances for the first time in years. I'd been so focused on the food, the customers, the daily operations. I'd let Diana handle everything else because I trusted her. Never again. In December, Sophie came to the restaurant after school and found me in the office, working on the holiday menu. "Grandma, can I ask you something?" I looked up. "Always, sweetheart." "Do you regret asking me to tell you about what I heard?" I got up and hugged her. "Sophie, you saved me. You saved this business. If you hadn't told me, Diana would have succeeded. I would have lost everything. But you lost your best friend." I lost someone I thought was my best friend. The real Diana. The person who could do what she did? I never knew her at all. Sophie hugged me back. "You're really brave, Grandma." "No," I said. "I'm just tired of being foolish." On Christmas Eve, we closed the restaurant early and had a staff party. 23 people who worked for me, who I now made sure to really know, really value. We laughed and ate and toasted the new year. For the first time in months, I felt something like peace. Robert found me in the kitchen later, washing dishes even though I could have left them for the morning crew. "Maggie," he said gently, "come home. It's Christmas." I dried my hands and looked around my restaurant. My restaurant. Not ours anymore, just mine. "I was thinking," I said, "in the spring, I want to renovate. New paint, new menus, maybe expand the outdoor seating. What do you think?" He smiled. "I think you're going to be fine." He was right. By spring, I had hired an assistant manager, a young woman fresh out of hospitality school who was hungry and smart. I started teaching cooking classes on Monday nights, passing on recipes and techniques I'd spent decades perfecting. The restaurant thrived in ways it never had before, because now I was paying attention to everything, not just my part. I heard through mutual acquaintances that Diana had moved to Arizona. She was working as a hostess at a chain restaurant. Her husband had left her when the full extent of what she'd done came out. Her daughter wouldn't speak to her. She'd lost everything too, though, unlike me, she'd brought it on herself. I didn't feel sorry for her. I couldn't. Maybe someday I would, but not yet. The wound was still too fresh, the betrayal too deep. Sophie graduated from high school in June.
About how dedication
At her
and
party,
a clear vision
she
can
pulled me
truly
aside.
change the trajectory
"Grandma,
of your career.
I want
It
you to
started
know
about
something.
10 years ago, right
I'm
here in
going to
this
study
office.
business in college. Accounting, maybe. Because of what happened. I want to help people protect themselves." I looked at my granddaughter, this fierce, bright young woman, and felt pride wash over me. "That's a wonderful goal, sweetheart. And if you ever want to run a restaurant, this one will be waiting." She laughed. "Maybe. First, I'm going to learn how to read a balance sheet so nobody can ever steal from me." Smart girl. That night, I sat on my back porch with Robert, watching the sunset. The air was warm, full of the promise of summer. My husband reached over and took my hand. "Any regrets?" he asked. I thought about it. About 35 years of friendship, gone in an instant. About the money I'd never recover, the trust I'd never fully have again. About the way I now checked every document, every transaction, every person. "No," I said finally. "I regret that it happened. I regret that she was capable of it. But I don't regret fighting back. I don't regret believing Sophie, and I don't regret taking my business back." "What did you learn?" I smiled, though it was bittersweet. "That loyalty is earned, not assumed. That trust without verification is just another word for foolishness. That even people you've known for decades can surprise you, and not always in good ways. Anything else? That I'm stronger than I thought I was. That I can rebuild. That losing a false friend is better than keeping one." I squeezed his hand. "And that family, real family, the people who tell you hard truths because they love you, they're worth more than any business, any amount of money, any friendship." Robert kissed my forehead. "I love you, Maggie. I love you too." We sat in comfortable silence as the sky turned from gold to purple to dark. Somewhere in the distance, I could hear the sounds of summer, children playing, music from a neighbor's party. Life going on, as it always did. I was 62 years old. I'd been wrong about loyalty, wrong about my best friend, wrong about a lot of things. But I'd been right about one thing. I was stronger than I'd known. Strong enough to face the truth. Strong enough to fight back. Strong enough to start over. And that, I'd learned, was enough. The next day, I went to the restaurant early. The morning sun was slanting through the windows, catching the dust motes in the air. I walked through the empty dining room, touching tables, straightening chairs. This place was in my blood now, more than ever. Every surface held a memory, but now they were only my memories, mine to keep, mine to build on, mine to pass down. I'd started over at 62. Not the way I'd planned, not the way I'd wanted. But sometimes, I was learning. The best things come from the worst circumstances. Sometimes you have to lose everything to understand what really matters. I unlocked my office door and sat down at my desk. On the wall across from me hung a photo from our opening day in 1989. Diana and I, young and hopeful, holding champagne glasses, grinning at the camera. I'd thought about taking it down 100 times, but I left it there. Not as a reminder of friendship, but as a reminder of a lesson learned. That trust is precious precisely because it can be broken. That loyalty means nothing if it's not tested. That the people who stand by you when everything falls apart are your real family. And that sometimes, the person whispering the truth you don't want to hear is the one who loves you most. Thank you, Sophie, I thought. Thank you for being brave enough to tell me. Thank you for seeing what I couldn't see. Thank you for saving me. I turned to my computer and opened the financial reports Jennifer had prepared. Numbers didn't lie. Numbers didn't betray. Numbers were just facts, waiting to be understood. I was 62 years old, and I was just beginning to understand what I was capable of. And that was my story. It wasn't the partnership I'd imagined. It wasn't the friendship I'd believed in for 35 years. But it was mine, rebuilt from betrayal into something stronger, something real. The corner bistro would survive, and so would I.